Hi, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with us. I'm Kat Shear, and this is a special presentation of Clydesdale Media. Before we get started with our guest, I'd like to remind everyone about some exclusive Clydesdale offers from our sponsors. RX Smart Gear provides world-class jump ropes, grips, and other gear for us all. Use the discount code Clydesdale15 for 15% off your order at rxsmartgear.com. Mobility Movement is a program that teaches you how to increase your capacity to heal, reduce recovery time, and restore your nervous system to peak health. Everyone gets a 7-day trial, but after that trial, our followers will get their first month free when they use the code Clydesdale Free Month at mobilitymovement.com. That's mobilitymvmnt.com. And last but not least, C4 Energy, delivering the most effective, best tasting, and highest quality products. Get 20% off when you use the code Clydesdale at checkout at c4energy.com. That's C, the number 4, energy.com. So today on Meet the Athlete, we have Syndicate Crown semifinalist Abby Domit. Abby, thanks for your time and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, this is great. I'm having so much fun getting to know the athletes, knowing that, we'll be there in person next week. And, it's nice to just sort of have a little background and know who you're rooting for when you're out there on the floor.
Yeah, I think this is awesome.
So I've interviewed a handful of young women attending the semifinal, and many of them got their start 6-7 years ago. They've been to the games as teens. Maybe they've done regionals before. You were the first that I've come across who has only been doing CrossFit for about 2 years. How did you get so good in such a short time?
So pretty much when I started, so I started in 2020, and I never really, I didn't start and just kind of did the class for a good while. I feel like a lot of people when they start, they're just kind of doing one WOD and that's it for however long, figuring out the skills. And so kind of, I guess when I started, I knew after a few weeks or whatever, I was like, okay, I like this. I want to be competitive. I want to, train hard and see how far I can take this. So little by little, obviously there was a period where I was just doing one WOD or just doing the class, but eventually I was like, no, I want to stay a little longer. I'll do some open gym. I want to get stronger. I want to work on my lifting and such. And so kind of just little by little, I would add more and more time. And I guess maybe after a year, I was like, okay, I want to try and do 2 sessions and just kind of go from there. But
And so when did you decide that the CrossFit Games was going to be your goal? Was that right from the beginning when you started getting serious?
Kinda, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I wanted to be good, and I look at all these girls who were obviously so much better than me, and at first I wanted to be able to beat them, and that was just kind of at the local level. And then once I figured out I could, I wanted to keep going further and then do bigger competitions and just see where I could go. And I'm like, yeah, screw it. I mean, that's the end goal. Yeah, I mean, you wanna go to the CrossFit Games, and nothing really else to it.
I love it. So how did you stumble across the sport in the first place?
Really, Anton, my husband, he was my boyfriend at the time. He had started a few months before me, and he pretty much every day he would kind of just tell me about it, and he'd be like, Abby, you'd really like this, you should join. And he would just kept pushing and pushing, and I was just like, no, I like to I'll just work out at home. I didn't really understand what CrossFit was as a sport, because obviously there's the side of you go and get a good workout, and then there's the side of we're competing in a legit sport here. And so it took a lot of convincing, and so eventually I went in for a drop-in, and the workout, it was toes to bar and running, and previously I did a lot of running, so I liked running. And then toes to bar, I was like, okay, these are fun. And so I kind of just got hooked. I was like, all right, I like this. I'll come back, And so really, it was kind of a birthday gift that he was like, for my birthday, I really want you to just sign up for CrossFit. And I was
Geez.
okay. But he's like, actually, I already signed you up. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, no, I'm not. It was like a 3-month thing. I'm like, okay, I'll do 3 months, then I'm out. I'm never going to come back. But then, next thing I know, I'm like, all right, I want to train every day. And so
Yeah.
that's how it went.
Where did you grow up?
The Midwest. I was born in Michigan. I
Hmm.
lived in St. Louis for about 10 years and then Illinois for 2 years. And I've been in San Antonio, Texas for the past 8 years, almost 8.5-ish going on.
And what took you to Texas?
Just to live with my dad. And so
Okay.
live with my mom and my dad. And so, because
Hmm.
my dad's already here.
Okay. Um, I stalked your Instagram,
Uh-huh.
and there is a distinct difference between you in, say, 2016, 2017, and you now. And when I say that, just superficially from a physical standpoint,
Yeah.
so tell everybody what you did, professionally before this, because it.
So I did do modeling for 3 years. I did that throughout college and paid for that, and it was a lot of fun, a lot of different experiences. Um, but really, I mean, I guess I was like skinny, but in my mind, I wasn't skinny, right? Like I was like, oh no, I'm on the bigger side. Obviously not. But and then I look at pictures and I'm like, oh wow, I was kind of skinny, and look at my legs and my arms. And so I feel like when I started doing CrossFit and like my friends and my coaches were like, okay, if you want to get strong, like you're gonna need to eat a lot of food. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can do that, sure. And so I started eating a lot. And I feel like the first like 10 to 15 pounds, those came like so fast. Like within like a few months, I was like already 10 pounds heavier than when I started. And I feel like that was just kind of my body, like that was just me nurturing my body really. It wasn't even like,
Right. You were
you
like adjusting to the amount of activity you were doing, and your body
know,
kind of
yeah.
needed it.
And like just because, I would look at, I use a Whoop now, but at the time I had a Fitbit, and I would
Hmm.
compare the workouts to like whenever I would just do a little workout at home, and I would burn, at least twice as many calories just by doing a class. And so obviously I'm eating a lot. And so naturally I just, my weight went up and up. And then it was a little bit later that I was like, okay, I need to keep going. I need to actually stuff my face so I can gain this strength that I want to get to. But
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, and I mean, the pictures are beautiful. There was one that sort of took me back where your abdomen is like really, it's like you're sucking in your belly and you're kind of on your back. And people can check out your Instagram and see all that. But the next picture, which was in a series, shows you standing up, and you can see you have muscle, like you had muscle tone. You were just very, very lean.
yeah,
Um, and you're still, pretty defined and lean and gorgeous, but it's just interesting to me to see sort of that difference. And I was a ballerina growing up, so that was like very thin, wafy, and now that I have lots of muscle, it's interesting to see the transformation.
yes. That's the thing, because like I was actually just talking about this with one of my friends like yesterday, how, because I was like, when I first started CrossFit, and like after a little bit, I feel like that's when I hit like the most tone I'd ever been in my life, because I started doing these intense workouts, and like I was very lean, and then I just kind
Hmm.
of got more, I started gaining a little bit more muscle, and the veins are all popping out. And so that's probably when I was like, oh wow, like I look really fit. But then as time passed and I started, to actually gain that strength and gain the muscle, I noticed like my abs kind of weren't nearly as defined as they were, but I'm so much
Sure.
stronger. And I don't know, it's weird to think about, because it's like your abs might not show as much, even though your core is, 20 times stronger than it
A
was,
lot
just
stronger.
you have all that weight there.
Yeah. Yeah. So clearly you have an athletic aptitude. Did you do sports growing up?
Yes. I started with, I mean, I did soccer when I was like little. I did dance when I was super little. My first love was definitely gymnastics.
Mhm.
which, there's a lot of that kind of in
It
CrossFit.
helps. It
It
helps,
does
yes.
help for sure. I didn't do it like that long. I did it 3.5 years. So I did it throughout middle school and like the back half of like fifth grade.
Mhm.
But it's just, I kind of took it like to the extreme. I feel like I probably went too hard. So there was a lot of injuries. And then eventually when I got to high school, we moved and the nearest gym was an hour away. And training is like, about 5 hours. And so driving an hour there, training, driving an hour back, it wasn't really going to be practical. And because of all the injuries, it was just like, all right, maybe I'm ready to just do something else. And
Mhm.
so in high school, I did track and cheer. And then when I
Okay.
moved to Texas, it was kind of a weird thing where like, I don't know, the cheer season was like, it never really ended. So you kind of had to choose one. And
Yeah.
my love was cheer, so I stuck with it. But
Were you able to do school sideline cheering for school and the competitive cheer? Could you do both
yes,
or did okay?
uh,
Because I know up here, I live near Pennsylvania, and my daughter did all-star cheer, and the girls that were in the local high school in PA, they couldn't do both.
oh
Like
wow,
like high schools would not let you be on your high school team if you were on a competitive cheer team. It was crazy
that's interesting. I mean,
because
because
their season was all the time,
it was
you
like
know?
to choose one. I
Yeah,
I could see that actually, but
yeah.
no, I mean, because we did our high school had like competitions, but I
Mhm.
mean, I wanted more, so I also did the All Star just
Got it.
for more, and
Were you
then
a flyer or a base?
I was so my freshman and like sophomore year, I was a flyer, and then I had some more growth spurts. I got a little taller, and then I moved down here, so I did basing and back spotting, and a
Okay.
little bit of flying if I was with boys, but with
Right.
the girls, I
Okay.
would spot and
Do you have
sometimes.
a favorite tumbling pass?
I really I liked whips. I did a lot of fulls. I liked standing fulls. I tumbled a lot, so
Mhm. Do you still mess around with that? Can you do like a backflip after you do burpees?
I could, yeah. I definitely I actually something I want to try after the season because I'm trying to be careful because I always hurt
Sure.
myself. So I want to go to like an open gym and see if I still got it. I think a backflip for sure, but I want to try and whip some
Yeah.
full out. That is something I actually was thinking about the other day.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, wait till the off season and then give it a try, see how it goes.
Yeah, because knowing myself, like I'm like, oh no, why did I do that?
Right. So, this won't necessarily be your first big competition either. You've done TFX a few years in a row, correct?
I did it. Yes, I did it this year, and I did it last year. Last year
Okay.
I did intermediate though, and then this year I did it pro. So
And how'd you do?
I tied for second.
Not too
Um,
shabby.
yes, I was happy with that, but I was so nervous. I'd never been so nervous before, like for competing. And I think it was just because of like just the competition. Like we were all just, all the girls were just so good and we were all just like very even on so many things. And I
Mhm.
was like, wow, this is real. Like, okay, I'm gonna have to, really put in the work to do it. I mean, obviously, but it's like before that I did, like local comps. There's not really a lot of competition at local comps, and you
Sure.
make mistakes, it doesn't matter as much. And so now I'm like, okay, now I actually have to learn from my mistakes and keep it all together up here. And
Sure.
um,
How stressful was your season coming up to now, like the open quarters?
so during the open, I was pretty stressed out because I felt like my cardio wasn't where I wanted it to be. And I think that's because I wasn't used to my like new body. Like the entire last year since the season ended, I was so focused on just gaining strength so I could get my lifts up and working on the skills that really held me back. And
Mhm.
so I would be like, I'm not going to do any running. I'm not going to do any of this. And just so that I could really get my strength up. And then by the time the open came around, I was like, oh my gosh, burpees are so hard, and all these body weight movements are so much harder than they were because
Sure.
I wasn't used to this new body. And
Right.
so I was pretty stressed during the open, even though like everybody's like, you just have to get top 10% to go to the quarterfinals and yada yada. But still, like my ego, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I wanted to do so much better. But I mean, it was fine. It passed. And then we got to quarterfinals, and I was like, okay, we're good. Made it through quarterfinals. I know I'm secured in the semifinals, which uh, last year I didn't make it to semifinals individually, so
Hmm.
I was really happy when knowing that okay, some progress has been made for sure to get to that point.
Yeah.
Um,
And were you high enough to not have to stress out about penalties and things like that too?
I'm sorry, what?
Were you high enough in the ranking to not have to worry about, backfills and penalties and all that?
I think so, yeah. And like I feel like on my videos we were actually very careful, which like I thank everybody who helped me for that because they were like reading all the standards and like actually setting everything up for me. And there was a few times where I had to start over because like maybe I was standing in the wrong spot or something, and
Hmm.
it's just my fault. I'm like, oh, guys, and they're like, how do you like this? Why you read the standards? And I'm like, okay, well. So I start over, and like I mean, they would rep me a lot, and they would, oh, just do
Good.
it again, just do it. So yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
very fair, and I'm like, it lets me know that I earned the spot not because of any, like weird.
Shenanigans. Yeah.
So, yeah, so I'm like, okay, if I can do this with all the stuff that went wrong, then that means I made it for sure. you know.
Yeah. Do you have a coach?
Yes, I started working with my coach Giovanni Contreras from Lone
Okay.
Star CrossFit. I guess like in maybe October, I think we kind of started working together. So yeah, and he's on a team with that same affiliate, and so they're getting ready to go to their semifinals and all that. And we're all like, oh man, I wish we were all sent to the same one so we could be together, but I mean,
Is he going to be able to go and be your coach? Will he be your plus one behind the
I
scenes?
don't think so. No,
Oh
just
no.
it's so like so there's actually sending two teams, and I'm going to Syndicate, and then one of the teams is going to Mac, then the other team is going to Granite Games, and
Oh wow. So you're all
everybody,
spread out.
yeah, and it's just getting your own flights and everything is already so much, and to go to more than one and then have to go compete a week later, it's like it'd be
Yeah,
a lot.
that is a lot. Yeah. So who are you bringing with you then?
My husband, he'll be my coach's pass, or he's going to use the coach's pass.
Nice.
But I'll also have some family there, and so I'm excited. I'm really excited for it.
Good, good. You've seen all the workouts.
yeah,
Have you tried any of the workouts?
yeah. Some of the movements I've never done before. So first things first was I tried playing with that specifically the 150 sandbag.
Hmm.
Uh, I wanted to make sure I could actually clean that and get that to my shoulder, because at first I was treating it like 100-pound sandbag, which obviously didn't work. And I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get this. And then he's like, no, you gotta get under it and do this. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I can do this. We got it.
It's like some serious strongman going on with the 150 for sure.
Yeah. Now I'm excited for it. I'm like, yes, that's the final event. I'm excited for that one for sure.
Good stuff.
But
Good stuff.
that's
What are
kind
you
of
most looking forward to being a part of the semifinal?
I guess just to see where I'm at, just see where I measure up with all these amazing athletes that I'm going to compete against, and I'm just I want to not be nervous and keep it together,
Yeah.
and be like, all
Are you
right,
going to fangirl at all?
huh?
Are you going to fangirl at all? Like Rich Froning's going to be there. Kelly Adams going to be there.
I don't want to. I feel like I feel like that'll really mess up my focus. So I'll just maybe like once it's all done, then I'll be like, okay, now I can go and find everybody. But
Yeah.
till that point, I'm gonna be like, I'm just working out. It's fine. I'm just, I'm gonna have fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Trying
I
to-
don't know if you can see the comments from the live, but my co-host Scott Schweitzer says, "I love the pure joy. You're
Oh,
just kind of happy to be here, right?"
I am.
That's
Oh
great.
yeah, for sure.
Well, we are going to be there as well, so make sure while you're warming up and everything, the most important thing to do is look for us and say hello. No, I'm kidding. We'll look for you. We'll try not to bother you.
I'm like,
But
oh,
Scott also
no,
said
5 minutes.
a burpee flip would be really a nice celebration after an event win if that were to happen. So just keep that in the back of your mind.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So safe travels, and it was great getting to know you a little bit, and we'll learn more about you in the coming weeks and years.
Thank you so much. Yes, I'm so excited. I'm just getting started, so
I love
hopefully
it. It's like a Carrie Pierce story. She went to the games after just a couple years. It can happen.
yes. So we'll see how that
Awesome.
weekend goes, but
All
hopefully I'll
right.
see.
Well, have a great rest of your weekend. Safe travels, and we'll see you there.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Bye bye.